Everyone, my name is Gitanjali Singh and I'm currently interning at Lexis and Company. The topic for the video is difference between police custody and judicial custody. Now, you must have heard about judicial custody and police custody many a times and in news many times. But do you know the difference between these two? Many people think that arrest and custody are both the same and used as a synonym. In this in this video, we learn about what is judicial custody and police custody, and the difference between them and the landmark cases relating to them. We must first of all, we must differentiate between custody and arrest. Now, custody and arrest are not the same. Arrest of any person is followed by custody by police, but it is not the case of every custody may preceded by an arrest. Now, basically, custody means it is a legal right or duty to care for something or something of the state of being kept in prison, especially while waiting to go to the trial for a court. Now, the arrest means generally a person who breaks the law is arrested. The term arrest stands for the meaning that apprehension of a person by the legal authority to cause deprivation of his personal liberty. Furthermore, an arrest can also be understood as a seizure or a forceful restraint. It is an exercise of power to deprive a person of his liberty and involves the keeping of a person in custody by legal authority, especially in response to a criminal charge. Now, under criminal law, an arrest is an important tool to bring accused before the court and not to let him abscond and to go for his trial. Custody can also mean apprehending someone for protective care. It may be understood as care, possession, and control of a thing or a person. Custody refers to a person who is being held in captivity after being charged with a crime or convicted of an offense. Now, what is police custody? In the case of cognizable offense, it is an apprehension of a suspect for the police officer to gather more details and information. Another objective of police custody is to avoid tampering of an evidence. During this time, the arrestee will be interrogated by officer in charge, that is, a police inspector. According to Section 57 of our CRPC 1973, the person who is arrested should be produced before the magistrate within 24 hours. However, the time of the journey from place of arrest to the magistrate does not include in the prescribed minimum time, that is 24 hours. Now, what is judicial custody? According to Section 167, Subclause 2 of CRPC 1973, when a police officer presents the arrested person in front of the magistrate can order him to send him either to the police custody or judicial custody. When the magistrate orders to send the person to police custody, police have the actual physical custody of an arrested person. Police detain the arrested person and in a lockup or a jail and interrogate him or her to collect necessary evidence and information. Now, in judicial custody, the magistrate has the custody of an arrested person. During this custody, police can interrogate the arrested person only after taking the permission of the magistrate. Nevertheless, police cannot harm an arrested person if he is in judicial custody. I'll be talking about 8 main differences of police custody and judicial custody. Number one, in police custody, the investigation is carried out by the police officer. But in judicial custody, the investigation is not the job of magistrate. The magistrate adheres to the evidence that is provided by experts' report and hearing in the trial. In in police custody, the accused is held in police station or jail or prison cell or the custody of an investigation agency probing into the matter. But in judicial custody, the accused is locked up in a jail and is under the custody of the magistrate. Now, in police custody, the accused is under the custody of police and here the process of the first information commences. But in judicial custody, the accused is custody under the magistrate. The accused is kept in lockup for further inquiry and investigation, but in judicial custody, the accused is kept in lockup as per the orders of magistrate or court for the duration of above 15 days. In the police custody, the accused lodged in police custody has to appear within 24 hours before the concerned magistrate. In judicial custody, the accused is kept in lockup until he or she is granted bail from the court. of law. Further, judicial custody begins after the public prosecutor satisfies the court that the custody of accused is necessary for the investigation. Whereas in police custody, it begins as soon as the suspect is arrested by a police officer after receiving a complaint or an FIR. Furthermore, in police custody, the period of 24 hours, which can be extended to a period of 15 days by the order of an appropriate magistrate, while in judicial custody, if the case is non-cognizable, punishable with life imprisonment, death, or imprisonment for a term of not less than 7 years, the maximum period of detention is 90 days. However, in the bailable cases, the maximum period for detention is 60 days. In police custody, while the security is provided by police, but in judicial, the judge or magistrate provides security in it. Moreover, judicial custody works on order of the court where judge and magistrate takes a call on the case of investigation. Whereas in police custody, the police officer is in charge, has complete control over the arrestee or the accused to suspect or investigate him in the provisional area according to himself. But he has to report to the magistrate. Now, the following landmark cases which differentiate between police custody and judicial custodies are as follows. In the case of State of UP versus Dharampal, in this case, it was held that the nature of custody can be altered from judicial custody to police custody and vice versa during the first period of 15 days mentioned in section 167 subclause 2 of CRPC. Now, after 15 days, the accused will only be held in judicial custody or some other type of custody that the magistrate orders, but not in police custody. In the second case of CBI versus Anupam J. Kulkarni, in this case, the court held that the custody of 7 days after expiry of 15 days of police remand was held violative of section 167 of CRPC. In the case of State of UP versus Ram Sagar Yadav, in this case, the court held that the remand should be passed by magistrate on the proper application of mind and not mechanical. In the further case of Devinder Kumar versus State of Haryana, in this case, the court held that any remand to police custody, including a second remand application, can only be made within the first 15 days after the arrest and not after that. Now, to conclude this topic, as per Article 21 of our Indian Constitution, the police or judicial custody must be reasonable, applicable, and legally viable. Because if it is not, then it will be contradictory and variably violative of Article 21 as well as Article 19 as well as Article 14 of our Indian Constitution. It's important to note that arrest and detention are not synonyms. Custody is a remand, while arrest is a form of forced imprisonment. Forced detention is an arrest also. Now, Section 167 of our CRPC deals with the provision of police and judicial custody. Both judicial and police custody limits the liberty and range of movement of a person under both the situations. According to the laws outlined in CRPC, the convicted person is arrested and held in a police or judicial custody, but it must be legally valid so that no fundamental right of any person be violated. And that's it. Thank you.